Ladies and gentlemen, we are now live for another edition of SAD. That's right, SAD. Something about Dynamite. It is Oh my God! It is February 2nd, 2023. It is 4:45 p.m. Eastern time. What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Hope everyone is looking forward to the weekend. Uh, and what is to come with the weekend and all that fun stuff. But nonetheless, here we are, guys. Here we are. If you are new to the Around the Point Network, please hit that subscribe button down below. If you are on Twitch, hit the follow button. It does help out everything in the long run. But what's going on? I am Steve. What's up, y'all? What's popping? We got the gang here. We got Big Mike in the house. Big Mike, what's popping, man? How are you?
Chilling.
Chilling like a villain. I like that. Chilling. And of course, we got Caden. Caden, what's up, man? How are you?
Chilling.
Chilling. That's the word of the day. That's the vibe today. We're just chilling.
I honestly didn't watch. I fell asleep at the beginning of Dynamite because my sleep schedule is destroyed. And then I woke up at like 2 a.m.
I noticed.
Big
I
Mike
know-
saw.
I
Big
noticed.
Mike was texting. I was texting with Big Mike and Romeo at 2:30 a.m., 3 a.m. I got through the first match on Dynamite and then the acclaimed segment. I was like, I don't want to watch wrestling right now. So then I
noticed.
fell back asleep around like maybe 4:35. Woke up at 10. I did some cleaning today. I finally cleaned and put clothes up. Man, I was not feeling like watching wrestling today. I don't know what it is. Like, even when I put Dynamite back on to finish it 2 hours ago, I was like, I really just don't want to watch wrestling. I don't know.
You know what's funny? Like I just said moments ago, I noticed, yes, 2 a.m. I had my phone blow up like crazy.
Yeah. I also just didn't, like, this episode of Dynamite was fine, but it wasn't really, like, for me.
And guess whose sleeping pattern got fucked today? This guy right here. This guy right here.
Yeah.
There's a do not disturb button for a reason, Steve.
It's fine. It is what it is. I've been there before. I've been there before. So it's fine. At least I got my sleep in though. So there was that. But yeah, this is the AEW Dynamite recap from last night. Last night, AEW Dynamite was live from the Nutter Center in Dayton, Ohio. If I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did around 3,000, I think.
Yes,
the same. It's a big event. Someone said it was a 12,000 seater, which, like, I could tell they had a really massive floor. Like, they had a huge floor, which they probably should have found a way to minimize how big it was. Like, they could have brought the ramp out further if they wanted to. Don't know why they put the ramp where they did. And then because of that, more than half, like, they had to cut off completely half of the venue. And then even then, they still had empty seats in the hard cam sections, and they had empty seats in the corner sections. So it just did not sell well. Way too big of a venue to run. And even if you want to run that big of a venue because it's the only thing there, sure, do it. But figure out a way to cut it in half even more. Like, I know, like, Ring of Honor, when they ran Curtis Colwell Center, which was a Tony run technically for Super Card of Honor, they ran half of the amount that the venue can actually run because they brought it up halfway through, and they just cut that venue in half. So you could have done that. They could have figured out a way to cut it in half with production. They just chose not to. And even then, like, why don't you just do the fucking show in Miami? Like, today, they left on the Jericho's. Jericho's left today. Just do the show in Miami. Like, that was so stupid.
Interesting. But like I was going to say moments ago, the Nutter Center was also the home of the first inaugural pay-per-view themed of the King of the Ring in 1993. So a little history with that building. A little history. That's where the cameraman got up on the apron and threw the fireball off his camera to Hulk Hogan. The same place where Bret Hart won the King of the Ring and all that stuff. But for all you history nerds out there, just wanted to put that out there. But Big Mike, what was your overall thoughts on AEW Dynamite last night?
I thought it was a fine show. Some things that I like to see and some things that I didn't want to see, which was kind of towards the end.
Fair enough.
So it was fine.
Kay, what about you?
Romeo's already calling you out. I liked the show, but overall, like episode didn't hit for me. I think as normal episodes did, I thought it started strong with Hangman and Mox. Did not like the Acclaim stuff. I thought that they didn't really push stories that well. Like I felt like two matches back to back, 40 to 45 minutes of your show was pushing one story, which is fine. But I think you could have probably spaced that out a little better. Like you could have done like the Takeshita match on Rampage maybe, and like put something else there. Like there was no tag matches on the show, which is weird. Like I feel like that, especially right now, like why didn't you just do the trios match on the show? Why'd you do it on Rampage? Put the Elite on Dynamite, move Takeshita and Brian Cage to Rampage. I thought that would have been a better choice. The other issue I had is I felt like a lot of matches were the exact same. You had your first two matches were Hangman Mox, Takeshita and Cage. Very similar, hard-hitting matches. They were almost like, in terms of the style that they wrestled, it felt very, very similar between those two. And that's why Takeshita and Cage just didn't hit for me. Thatcher and Danielson was like, they hit each other hard, but it was more submission based, and that was fine. I expected a little more out of them. Was my least favorite Bryan match in a really long time. I just didn't think it hit as much as it should have for me. And then you end and then Cargill and Velvet's different. They got 5 minutes because of course the women got 5 to 6 minutes. And then the main event was great, but again, another hard hitting match. So when you have four of your matches, like all four of your men's matches on the show being hard hitting, brutal, all that type of stuff, like you need something a little different. You need, like I suggested, doing something with like doing Top Flight and AR Fox. If you want to do the trios title next week with the Elite, do Top Flight and AR Fox versus some random trio. Quick little 5-minute jumpy match. Bring in Tony Depp and Blake Christian and Jordan Oliver. Bring in just 3 guys from GCW, and you can have a quick 5-minute jumpy match. Easy, like that's an easy way to go. And I don't like that everything in the men's division felt like a very similar version of a match where it was just beating the shit out of each other. Like I like beating the shit out of each other, but I don't like it when every single match is beating the shit out of each other. Every match feeling the same just doesn't. I don't need that. I need some variety in my matches.
Okay. Fair enough.
That didn't bother me that much because I kind of grew up on that style of.
Okay, this spot monkey addiction.
I'm not even saying I just needed a spot fest. Like I could have, like maybe if he did something like Jungle Boy or Jungle.
I get what he's saying. You know, have a variety.
Yeah.
Have a variety. You know, have a trios match. Have a regular tag team match. Have a longer women's match. The two. You know, hard-hitting matches are fine, but just after that, have a variety.
Yeah,
mix it
and
up
like
a little bit. Mix it
my
up.
issue is that it was every single men's match was about beating the shit out of each other. Every story, and even though Cage or even though Thatcher and Danielson and the main event of being Darby and Joe were different, there were two matches on the show that were about ending a blood feud, which is fine. But I think you got to do them on different nights. You can't, because when you do them on the same night, I think they dilute each other a little bit. And then when you add in that Thatcher and Danielson also beat the shit out of each other, and then Cage and Takeshita also beat the shit out of each other, I think it just takes away from the other stuff and it makes them feel lesser than. That's why you do a variety of things and you space things out over shows. That's just I don't know like if that makes sense to other people. It's just the way I felt. Is like if you add in variety, it makes everything stand out rather than it felt like these matches just kept going and felt like one continuous version of a match.
I will say this right now, Mike. I like that Caden is finally seeing the light on certain things here. Variety. It's what we've been asking for a long time. Variety.
I mean, I feel like anybody will want to see variety. But like I said before, like the style of match that we had last night was fine. It doesn't bother me as much because, like I said, we grew up on that type of stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't care. But I do understand of wanting variety. Like it matters at some point.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. And I think also the fact that for them, and again, it just go back to what I was saying a long time ago. We've been saying this shit for a minute, Mike. You and me back in the day. They know who they're catering to. which is the hardcore fan base who
Yes.
doesn't see anything wrong with this. And that's
Yes.
fine. But that's who they're catering to in this situation when you're
Lords.
giving us all these hard-hitting matches and less variety. You know? To me, I thought the show was okay. It's an okay show. It's not going to pull your hair back. It's not going to make you go, "Oh my god, I got to go back and rewatch something." No.
I don't. Besides mock, like I think I need to rewatch the first and last match, and that's it.
Yeah, the first and last matches are
Yeah.
what you need to watch on the
Yes.
show.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, and that's not
absolutely.
even
Everything
saying,
in between.
In the middle, it's not even saying everything in between was bad because I thought like
Right.
the women's match, I thought that was one of Jade's better matches. I
Yeah.
wish they gave them 5 more minutes because it felt like they were getting into gear and then boom, it's over.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So
I will like I said, I would have just cut. I would have cut Brian Cage and Takeshita because that was that being between Thatcher and Danielson and between the opener Hangman and Mox. That was such a similar match. I took elements from both of those two matches and kind of combined them into one. So I think you could have done with, or at least from Moxley and Hangman, it did feel very similar to that. And I was like, okay, like we could do without that. Let's throw that on Rampage. I think that was a better spot. And then you can do it like, let's just do a squash, do a quick little match, and then we can give the women more time. Or put the women there and do the squash, do a buffer match between Danielson and Thatcher and the main event. You could have done like a quick little, like, I know Romeo saying like, I need to get help for my spot monkey shit. And that's like, I'm not a bit like, I do like Spot Fest. They're fun, but I'm saying like, I think that's a good 5 to 10 minute buffer match that you can use instead of doing 15 minutes of Takeshita and Cage. Cause it just felt so similar. I also didn't care. Like I did not care about that match because I knew Brian Cage still like he loses every fucking match on television. So why do I care?
I was gonna say,
Many
if
issues.
anything, I was gonna say, what you could have also done, if anything, is put Takeshita versus Brian Cage on Rampage.
I just said.
I just wanted to get that in there real quick. I'm sorry.
Steve, it's literally what I just said.
All right, my bad.
That was like whole thing was like you could have put that match on Rampage. Like that was part of my whole rant.
Or on Dark Elevation or Dark.
Also, why did the Acclaimed have the squash match on this? What was the point of their squash match?
Well, there are tag team champions, and people just want to hear them rap. Let's say
you just have them rap. You don't even need to do the squash. Have them. They're the tag team champions. Why are they involved in a squash match?
I have no clue, man.
Just give them like a legit tag team. Like I just have like pull a tag team from GCW and do a like that would have been better. Doing the Acclaimed in a 5-minute like a 5-minute squash.
Problem is though,
you can cut to Takeshita and Cage, add more time to the women's match. That I would have preferred. You could have given you could have pulled anybody out of your ass. What are the best friends doing? Why aren't do the best friends? Yeah. They can lose and be fine.
When is Cage's contract up? I don't know, but that's interesting.
He signed in, I believe he signed in March. I think he signed March of 2020 because he signed 1 to 2 months before he even debuted. He had signed really early, so I think it's up in the next month.
Now, from what I was hearing, it was supposed to expire last year, but Tony
picked up the option,
and now it's in a couple of weeks. But we don't. Honestly, I think he's staying. I don't see him going anywhere.
I think he's leaving.
You think he's leaving?
Why the fuck would you stay when Tony is just gonna have you get buried every fucking week?
Yeah, I mean, his last 2 matches, you could tell like he's just trying to look good for where else he's going.
Like, Paul, listen, you see me doing this, man? Like, or Dick or Ed, Paul.
I think he could fit really. Like I've been saying to put the last yesterday, I said put Dijak with Cross, put Cage in there too. Brian Cage and Dijak as the tag team leaders to Karrion Kross. And yeah, Romeo, he is a Ring of Honor champ, but they were doing a story where Prince Nana is trying to recruit somebody to the embassy. I think he was trying to recruit Takeshita, maybe. They could add another guy to Gates of Agony. They've barely built that up. They haven't even had Gates of Agony on TV since they won those titles.
Yes.
They can add a third guy to that group easily.
So, listen, we've rambled here, and I feel like we could easily end this review right here. But I think it's about that time, fellas, ladies and gentlemen watching in right now, to get into this darn episode of AEW Dynamite. Tell us in the chat your thoughts on the show, what you like, what you didn't like, and we'll read it here live on the air. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen,
let's fucking go.
Kick it away, Caden.
Big Mike, you got me on the pictures?
Yeah.
Or Big Mike, take it away.
Yeah, so we started this with Hangman Adam Page taking on Jon Moxley in their third match. The first one ended via no contest. Second one in Los Angeles, January 11th, 2023. Hangman Page won and put Jon Moxley out of action for about 3 weeks. And this is the third match. Moxley and Hangman in Dayton, Ohio, an hour north of Moxley's hometown of Cincinnati. Moxley entered with his father and Wheeler Yuta representing the Blackpool Combat Club. These two beat the shit out of each other. As soon as Adam Page got to the ring, Moxley met him at ringside and took him out. They went about maybe 5 minutes outside of the ring, 3 to 5 minutes. As soon as we got inside the ring, Moxley, they zoomed right in on this man blading himself. Because, of course, what's a Moxley match without them zooming in on him blading? But he bladed, all bloody, rushing into his eye. We had Moxley and Page trading some chops, trading some forearms, going after each other big. We got a fall-away slam by Page, a vintage move by him. We got Excalibur pointing out Moxley has actually never lost back-to-back singles matches in AEW. So this was Hangman Page trying to be the first person to be able to do that. Page pulling out some moves in his arsenal that I have not seen him hit in a very long time, like that thrust kick right there. A move that the Young Bucks, his old best friends, used all the time. And then a small package driver. I have never seen a small package driver used. I don't maybe I have forever ago, but that was awesome to be able to see him pulling some new things out of his arsenal. You got more just beating the shit out of each other. A few lariats, multiple hard-hitting lariats. Got a King Kong lariat, that move that took out Page and gave him the concussion. A buckshot that Moxley kicked out of at 2.5. Hangman then went into the Bulldog choke, which is Moxley's submission move, and Moxley countered into a pinning maneuver to beat Hangman Page. Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta rush the ring to protect Moxley from Hangman, and both of these men flip each other off to end the shot. You got there. Hangman Page flipping them off. Moxley counting back saying, fuck you. I don't think this is the last of these guys. I think we got one more rubber match coming down the road. But Big Mike, how'd you feel about this opening contest of AEW Dynamite in Dayton, Ohio?
I thought this was really good. Good opener. I think this was probably their best match together, in my opinion. The bad camera work. The guy from WWE, you need to do a better job. That's why they didn't give it to you. You need to do a better job with the camera work, with the producer.
To be fair, he did quit.
Oh, well, yeah, but he quit because he wasn't getting that job. That's why they didn't give it to him.
Yeah, it's been a little.
But
it's been I won't even blame him. It's been rough for a really long time with those camera angles.
It's been an upgrade. You could tell that they got a new guy. But you could tell why they didn't give it to him when he was there. But yeah, the hard hitting, the lariats, the small package. Like you said, I haven't seen a small package driver probably since Kevin Owens from back in the day, because he used to use it too.
Oh, he did used to use it.
Pile driver,
yeah. He used to use it.
He hasn't used it in a really long time.
Yeah. And then the at the end with them flipping each other off, I think I saw a meme online of those dudes in New York just flipping each other off, and then they make it spectacular, and then flip them off again, and then dude cross the street, flip them off, and he walks across the street, flip them off again. That's what it reminded me of.
You know what's funny about that, Mike? That was actually filmed in my town.
Oh, so it was in Jersey. It wasn't in New York. Okay.
It was filmed.
That makes more sense.
Dude with the red hat. Right? It was literally filmed in my town. It's a fun little fact. The guy who did it was Mike Ruga. he is actually
We all know
on.
who that is. We all know exactly who Mike Ruga is, Steve.
Do you really?
Yeah.
No, you don't. Don't lie here. You don't know.
I'm fucking with you, dude.
So he's actually gonna be on the next season of Wild 'N Out.
Oh yeah, you told me that before. Yeah, you told me that a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who
So
probably
Big
are
Mike
not aware.
did know who Mike Ruga is. And one of us did know.
Yeah, he mentioned it, in one of his rambles. So I kind of remember that.
Guys, check him out.
Okay,
He's funny as shit. If you got
we-
IG, check him out. But anyway, this match though.
I'm about to ask you a question. The
Shoot away.
transition into yours. Romeo saying this John Moxley, Blackpool Combat Club, he went with the pinning maneuver here. What do you think? Like, are we going to get a third match? Should they add a stipulation? What do you feel?
Do people really want to see a third match? The fourth match?
Oh, fuck yeah. I want to see a third. They're 1-1.
Ain't it the fourth match?
No, that's the third.
No,
but remember the first one ended.
No. But wouldn't it be the fourth match?
It would be the fourth, but they're 1-1. You can't end it here. You got to have a decisive winner.
I think they have like like what Chase said.
Yeah. I think it's a Texas death match.
Or you know what? Give me the cage, yo. Give me the cage.
It's got to be Texas death match.
Or you know what? Fuck all this shit. Give me a lights out match. Lights out.
But the issue with the lights out match is it doesn't count towards records. So even if we did have a lights out match, it wouldn't even be a rubber. We need one more.
Do people really care about records though nowadays in AEW? Are we really like?
I don't not that much, but in terms of that's why they haven't used the lights out match in they haven't done a lights out match since Beach Break 2022, over a year.
Dang, I got him. I got it, Steve. I got it.
What? The last lights out match?
About to make Roman a mod.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. The records don't matter, but the point of they got rid of the lights out match because they used the lights out match to protect records. That was the reason why they introduced them in the first place.
Oh no, you can only make them on my bro. My bad.
They weren't official losses.
Only Icon?
Oh, they did do a lights out between Starks and Hobbs. I forgot about that. Yes, So lights out matches they are officially the main event. The last lights out match was Starks and Hobbs, but that was right before they ditched records. I think that was in the middle of them ditching them because they had gotten rid of them a few weeks before, but nobody knew are we actually done with this? So yeah, but they haven't used them in 6 months. So I think it makes more sense between these two guys to use a Texas death match. Hangman's already wrestled 2 of them in AEW. Moxley's wrestled 1 or 2, but then he also wrestled a few. He wrestled the Tokyo Dome against Lance Archer in a Texas death match. I think that's the perfect stipulation here. Big Mike, what do you think? Texas death match?
Yeah, I'm digging that.
It's a last man standing rule.
Yeah, I'm digging that. I would like to see that.
Yeah, because it's basically just a last man standing match.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that's probably especially with the story with the concussion, how they're putting concussions into it and knocking each other out. I feel like they got to do a last man standing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're showing records on Dark. They're still showing records everywhere. They're still showing records on Dynamite too. They just don't do the rankings anymore. So they still have records. They just don't have rankings. It's fine. I stopped paying attention to them years a year or 2 ago. I was I don't really fucking care anymore.
I don't care about the rankings.
Yeah, I think a lot of people stopped caring.
The rankings didn't make sense after a while.
There's a few comments that I'm going to go ahead and I'll mark. Any comment on Joe? If it's for later in the show, I'll mention it later in the show, guys. Just so y'all know, I'm not ignoring anything that you say. I just don't want to get to it while we're not even on that segment. Romeo saying Mox can't talk all that trash and then win with the pinning move. LOL. It needs to be settled on a last man standing or a death match at Revolution. Hangman continues to shine. Yeah, I think this feud has really helped Hangman find that edge that I think he's been missing in AEW. I think I love Hangman, but I've always felt like he's missing that one little piece to where I think that sets him apart as truly a top guy. I felt like he's always been right on that edge, but hasn't gotten there. And I think this inadvertent feud with Moxley, the concussion really is what put him there because that's what led to all this is him getting concussed. This wouldn't happen if that didn't happen. So I think that was a big blessing in disguise for his character. Yeah. Chase saying bring back the MMA cage. Nah, fuck no. We don't need to see another one of those. That was so fucking terrible. That was one of the worst matches the AEW's ever.
You know what, bro? I love that though. When I watch, I was stoned. Keep that in
I
mind.
hated every set. Go watch it again, Steve. It's really bad.
It was funny though. It was funny.
I don't even remember that match. Where was that?
It was
Wardlow and Hager.
Wardlow and Hager.
Oh
right
yeah, that's why I don't remember.
Because they taped 4 weeks of TV before they left Daly's place, right before they went back on the road, and that was on like the second or third week. That was also when they debuted Andrade, which is like one of the worst debuts they've ever done.
Yeah, that's why I didn't remember that.
And it was one of those weeks they did it. But next up, we had Renee Paquette backstage interviewing the Bunny. And then we saw Tony Storm and Saraya beating the shit out of Britt Baker. And Jamie Hayter ran away. And Bunny was just kind of laughing.
Yeah.
I like this. I thought this was fine. Continuing to push that woman's story there.
Yeah, I mean, this is I get where they're going, and you were spot on, especially for later in the night when they interviewed Britt Baker.
I didn't even see that. I didn't even know they interviewed.
Oh, you didn't see that? Okay,
I didn't see this.
So they interviewed Britt Baker in the back after the beatdown, and Ruby Soho came in to check on her. And she was like, "Why do you care? These are your friends. You know them." So they're going the route that you're saying.
Yeah, this is kind of what I predicted. I was like, I think it's better to go that way.
I felt like it could have been a different way, but I get it. If they're going a route of blood and gut, women's blood and guts, cool. But I felt like, the quote unquote double turn that really didn't make sense to me. Didn't really need to happen. They could have just kept. I know she was getting booed. Saraya was getting booed, but they could have somehow handled it all together without doing like a double turn.
The only reason I disagree is I think fans would have naturally leaned to the AEW originals because they do that all I think when you listen to fans, they naturally tend to lean towards. It's not all the time. It's not like a general blanket statement. It's like that a good amount of the time they do that. So I feel like fans would have wanted to go towards the originals. And I think that there was originally a different plan. And I think Mercedes not being at that show messed everything up. And they had to switch some things really quickly, which is why I think it felt so abrupt and out of nowhere. But I don't mind. Like, I think in hindsight, it's like, while I thought it was, I liked that they did it. And I thought I liked the direction they were going. It was a little awkward, but I feel like over time, it's the last 2 weeks. I think they've made it seem good. I think they've kind of they've explained it well enough. I still like the story. I know Romeo fucking hates it.
It's a story, but if it's gonna get us to that blood and guts point, then I'll dig it for now. But yeah. I'm not all great about it. No,
my only issue is I would prefer more time with it because it feels like there's parts that feel inconsistent.
Yeah. I feel that same way too. That's why I'm not like,
Yeah, I just want they could have dropped. I think they could have fixed some stuff with this. And I know Chase hates the story too. I like the story. I'm sure we'll talk about it on Around the Point tomorrow. I know I was going to talk about it last week, but Chase didn't. Was unfortunately not able to be on the show. But I'm sure we'll finally have the great debate over if this is a good story.
Yeah, we gotta have Romeo on there too.
I mean,
if he can make it.
Oh, I'm just gonna get fucking tag teamed by everybody. I'll
be devil's advocate. I'll be devil's advocate and be in the middle.
Let me see what I can do here. 1 second. Let me see what I can do.
Romeo, I agree. The women are not allowed to cut promos in the ring, and I don't agree. I think they should have. Again, that's the thing is about this show. I felt like they pushed a few stories, but overall, it felt like they didn't. Like Takeshita and Cage and Danielson and Thatcher are both part of the same story, and that was my issue. And it didn't feel like they. Chase isn't on tomorrow, but it felt like they didn't push a lot of things that they should have. It feels still like Tony still has that inconsistency with stories where he can't, and this is my issue, he needs to be more consistent. And there was something he talked about on Mark Maron's podcast where he originally, with his notebook, he had it listed by dates, and then next to all the dates, he had what he had planned out. Because I know Chase has this theory that Tony steals from what people say on wrestling Twitter. I know for a fact that that's not true. I know that he has a notebook, and in that notebook, he literally has weeks of television written out for his main stories. He doesn't do it for some stories. He builds around what he already has set out, but he'll do it like that. I know he's changed it, so now it's by story instead of by date. Something like that. There's something weird with the notebook that he changed around, but I feel like he's still not consistent.
So he's writing this by himself?
He writes every story out by himself, and he has everything written out in his notebook. No, so Chase, Chase is, one second. Chase said it ended at Full Gear with Hangman 1. No, that's not correct. He had a list of the 4 names of the 4 AEW champions when the company first started. He had written out Jericho, Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. He did not know the order of the 4, but he said those were the first 4 champions. He had those 4 written out. That's what you're bringing up is a completely separate situation. That's not the notebook. That's very different.
I feel like he should get a little bit more input on his writing. I know he wants a direction. I feel like he knows the direction he wants to go, but he has so many great wrestling minds there that can get him to that point a little bit better.
He does. So because I know and Big Swole has said this. I'm trying to phrase things where I'm not putting out shit that's not been reported. He has talent make suggestions and they pitch their stories. And then he takes what's pitched. He will consult, and anybody who wants to come up and say like, hey, I have this idea, he will work with you. So like the Ethan Page and Matt Hardy story right now, that's all written by those 2. Tony's let them write it. And he has Tony, from what I understand, Tony has his stories, and then he takes in the other stories that other wrestlers will have, and he'll put them, like he'll use them in the show when they work. That's why like there's inconsistency with that story, because he doesn't need to book everything on Dark, right? He can fill time on Dark, so he lets them tell that story on Dark. That's why you'll get like the Joey Janela and Sonny Kiss story was all contained on Dark, because he was like, y'all can go do what you want to do on Dark. I don't give a fuck. But on my TV, I have to do these things. And if I can fit y'all in there, then I can fit you in. If not, deal with it. It's not going to be on my TV show. So that's from what I understand, that's what it is. I know talent, because talent do pitch stories. I know that to be true. I know a lot of talent usually will have at least some sort of control over what they're doing. That's why Miro, that story about Miro saying he didn't want to do that, Tony lets people have control over that. He's very much like, if you don't want to work this story, we'll try to work something out. We'll try to fix stories. Like he's very much kind of like that. So, but he does like with Punk. He changed a lot. He changed direction for Punk. He changed direction when Brawl Out happened. He changed direction when Punk got injured. He changed direction when Mercedes didn't come into the company, because he was under that expectation that Mercedes was coming in and that Mercedes was in that tag match. So when things happen, he does switch gears, but he does listen to people. He does plan out weeks in advance. The only thing I'll say is that while it does feel like there's inconsistency with some stories, it's because he plans around his big stories and then he fills in the gaps with other shit. And I don't think that's the right way to do it. I think it's smarter to I think it's good to have your overall plans, but even with your smaller stories, you have to be consistent. And he's not like that. He's kind of like, I build around my main stuff. I build the matches that help that main stuff. And then I can work in the smaller stories if they fit.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
A little bit,
Little-
but I still got my gripes. But this is gonna always happen.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't love this. I think it's like I don't love the system. I think there's a lot of flaws, and I've had conversations with people that also hate it. There's a lot of issues with the system.
Yeah,
but you know what though? If he's happy
wrestling has millions of pieces.
But if he's happy doing it the way he's doing it right now, then so be it.
Yeah, I mean the difference between why AEW and like why if you're comparing the two ways that Tony books and the way that Vince or Hunter books week to week. He does not book like Tony will book weeks in advance. Like the Swerve in Our Glory stuff. That was I think Tony had booked at least 3 months out at one point. He had 3 weeks of television written and he had it all done. But compared to Triple H, he books week by week by week. And every week he goes in and he writes the script. And then the next week happens. And then he writes that script. And then the next week happens. He does not, he will have a guide map of what he might have a guide map of what he wants to get to, but he won't book he won't book complete storylines. Tony will book complete storylines in a night. And he'll have every single week written out and what he's going to do on that week. Which I think it can be good, it can be bad. There are pros and there are cons, and sometimes it works well, sometimes it does not.
Yeah, I agree with
All right. All righty. Let's move on here. Let's get
That's how
back
Tony
to,
books, you guys.
let's get back to the review. I'm sure everyone loved this whole conversation, which is good. I mean, sometimes I feel like it's good to take a little detour.
Yeah, it's
So,
really I've talked to a lot of people about it, and I hear different things from a lot of different people I talk to. So it's really intriguing to hear. Like I want to, as somebody who kind of wants to book in the future, it's interesting to learn.
I look forward to seeing your booking, Kate. I look forward to it. All the
Something
all
I
the
would not
flying
book
matches.
Something I would never fucking book in my life was the Acclaimed and the Ass Boys have another interaction here. The Acclaimed have a quick little squash match against Turbo Floyd and Truth Magnum. Okay.
What indie show did they wrestle out of, huh? What indie show did they come out of?
I don't know who these guys are. I think they were famous in like the 2000s. I don't know. I saw them on Twitter. But and then afterwards, the Guns come down to the ring, say they want a shot at the belt. They say no. And then Daddy Ass walks out and says, okay, you guys get to fight. But this time, what the fuck happened? And then Daddy Ass was like, you bitch. You're a bitch.
Yeah, he said that he left.
Oh yeah, he said leave. He said leave like you always leave, right?
And then he said do like you always do and pick up a pill.
Go get a bottle.
Yeah,
go
drown
yourself in a bottle.
Yeah, and then he came back and he went to skull him, and then his mic went out, and then he got another mic, and then he
says, "Do you think you have what it takes? Well, you got it. Next week, a tag team shot." Okay, I will say the one thing I liked was that Billy, when he got the mic back, he was trying to improvise something to kind of save the segment. And so what he said was Colton wasn't looking at him. Because I think Austin. Austin wasn't looking at him. I think Austin looked like he was about to break. And he did like what Roman Reigns said, where he pulled Jay in during that segment when Jay was like, everyone was laughing their asses off. And he goes, no, look at me. He goes, look me in the eye. If you're going to say that shit, and you get to look me right in the eye while I talk to you. That was the only good thing about this segment. I thought Billy did a good job.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this is probably going to lead to Daddy Ass turning heel on.
God, I hope so. The Acclaim need to get over on their own.
I think he helps his sons win the belts.
Well, I think so. Would not do that.
They win the belts next week, and I think they drop.
Yeah, I think they win the belt. Me too.
I think they drop it at Revolution to FTR.
Yeah. I think that's where it's going to. I had a feeling that we were going to get like a couple of stories resumed off of this show. That's one of them. And then, of course, the ending, which I did not like. I like the match. I did not like the ending at all.
That. Yeah, we got 2 resumed. I mean, this wasn't even a resumed story because they'd been building up to this for the last like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like when are they going to do the match?
Yeah, when I mean by resume, I think I meant like, FTR is not on TV. So it's like they needed a way
You think that we're about to get FTR back like after this?
Yeah.
I think what I think happens is I think Daddy Ass turns next week to help the Ass Boys win, and then the week after, which I think is I think they're in Laredo next week and El Paso the week after, or it's the other way around. It's El Paso and then Laredo. I think the week after they win the titles, they're out there, and that's when FTR comes out, and we get, because I think they're just going to hold the belts for 4 weeks. I think they're just transitional champions.
Yeah.
You making the trip, kid? You making the trip?
No, I did look at flights. It was way too expensive to fly home because it's a 3.5-hour drive from my parents' house, and I could have, like, that's not bad. I'll drive it, but especially because tickets were really cheap, and I probably could have gotten media, but it was really expensive to fly.
Yeah, but I do think, like Mike is saying, I do see next week, right?
Yeah.
Billy Gunn turning, because
Yeah,
again,
I think so too.
what kind of parent wouldn't help out their son? I mean,
I think yeah. And then I want to where is this? Chase saying everyone getting tired of the Acclaim. I think the issue with the Acclaimed is they haven't given them a good feud. Like, they beat Swerve in Our Glory. Since then, what have they done? They had Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal, right? Like, that was their. No. Sorry, they beat FTR. That made a lot of people pissed off because everybody wanted to see FTR win. Then they had Then they had Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. And while I didn't hate that feud overall, I thought it was actually fairly decent. It's also not the best thing to do with the Acclaimed, like, because it's the issue of having, like, AEW has yet to prove to me that they can do a tag team division and they can do a trios division at the same time. Because when the trios division started, the first 4 weeks when they had the tournament, the tag division went to shit. Then when All Out happened and the Elite were taken off TV, the trios division went to shit, and the tag division got a little tiny bit better. Not much better, because they still just had Swerve in Our Glory and Acclaim. It's just, I feel like they just don't know right now. They don't know how to book the Acclaimed, and they don't know how to book tag teams. Like, they're put, like, what? Let's think about it, right? Like I said this a few weeks ago. Where's Death Triangle? Where are the Lucha Brothers? Why aren't they on here? Why aren't they on TV? Yeah. Where is got Bear Country, the Iron Savages now? Got the Workhorsemen. You got I actually really like the Workhorsemen. I'm a really big fan of theirs. You have the Gates of Agony. You have Matt Hardy and Isaiah Cassidy as the new Private Party. You have the Firm.
More like the Party and the Chaperone, but
you have the Firm. You have there's like a million other tag teams that just you have the Best Friends. Haven't done shit with the Best Friends. Like, why aren't they getting a tag title opportunity? You've got, like, you were waiting on FTR to come back, and then you have Roosh and Mascara Dorada, and that's his name, or even Roosh and 10. You have Roosh and Preston Vance. There's a lot of, like, and I'm sure I can think of more. I'm just fucking tired. There's a lot of AEW tag teams, and remember when AEW first started, they were like, "Oh, this is the mecca for tag teams," and they're not fucking using any of them. Like, the last 2 feuds for this team have been tag teams that have risen into prominence in the last year or the last 3 months for Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett that just started 3 months ago. So what's the fucking point of how, like, you're not using any of your fucking talent?
Yeah. That's a perfect explanation on that, or statement on that. I mean, it's just like we haven't really gotten that feud for the for the Acclaim.
Lucha Bros have been off TV since Escalera Del Norte.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but like, cool, but you can't have that tag team being over just because of Billy Gunn. Eventually, he's not going to be there. Right. So what? You're just going to have this tag team of Billy Gunn for the next 25 years? If they can't get over without him, then they can't get over. Then the team's over. Then it's just, you got to move on and make Bowens a singles guy. Also, I fucking hate Max Caster. So I don't give a fuck if this shit fails.
Well, fine.
Fucking
a lot of people like Max, though.
Oh, a lot of people really fucking hate him. He's a fucking dick.
Well, listen. Off the air, you know.
No, there are times where I do not go on the air about certain talent unless it is a personal thing. Max Caster, it is a personal thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think a lot of people.
No,
I think a decent amount probably know, but not a lot of people know his personal crap. And
it's for me. There's a personal situation I have with Max, or not well with me, but it's Ron Howard voice. Everyone did not love the Acclaimed. Yeah, like I mean, you just look at what Max said to Will Washington, where he was like, "Fuck the media," in a room full of media. Said, "Fuck the media are snakes." And that's not the reason. That's part of the reason, but it's not the full reason. There's more that I'll tell you off air. There is a genuine reason why they fucking hate this guy. It's just not my business to share.
To quote Gabriel Iglesias, let's move on.
He's a fucking dickhead.
Well, listen, you said it. I didn't say it. You said
I'll fucking say it every fucking day.
Listen,
I'll call this guy out for being a dick.
But listen, man, if you're the reason why he doesn't appear on Around the Point down the road, we now know why. I'm kidding.
He won't appear on anybody's shit, dude. And Max, yes, Chief, thank you. He stole John Cena's gimmick. He did, 100%. He stole the Doctor of Thugonomics.
Yeah.
Probably with better beats, though. Probably with better beats, but or up to date beats, if that makes sense.
No, I'll take Cena's stuff all day, every day.
I don't think Caster's raps are that. His rap last night was fucking god awful.
It's just his shock and awe for his raps. That's all it is.
Let's move on. Let's move on here. Okay.
Well, next up we had Brian Cage taking on Konosuke Takeshita. Brian Cage, 1/3 of the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions.
Yeah.
About what do you expect from these two? Hard hitting, back and forth, hitting those big boys moving moves. We got F5 by Brian Cage. He did that the suplex from the outside to the inside. And then Takeshita hit this massive running knee to get the win over Brian Cage. Cage losing yet again on AEW television. But Takeshita getting a big win, which he really needed. I think Takeshita really needed a win. Been losing a lot on TV. Good for him.
Yes.
I thought the match was decent. Yeah.
It was. It was decent match. I feel like, it's because again, we find out later on in the show, it was a way to get Takeshita to that next spot, which we're gonna find out later on in the show. But yeah, for Brian Cage, he's a guy who, let's be honest here. Anyone that's watched him on Lucha Underground, watched him on Impact, the guy deserves better. This guy deserves fucking better. I'm not saying put the world title on him. I'm not saying that. But god damn it, this guy just fucking deserves better. That's all.
Takeshita or Cage?
No, Brian Cage. Takeshi's great.
Brian Cage does not deserve better.
He deserves better. I'm sorry,
Get vaccinated, then you deserve better.
Oh, he's one of those?
Yeah.
Oh, then fuck him, then. Never mind. I take back what I said, shit. Oh, man, come on, bro. You want to take the jab?
I don't want to slander him. I think he is. I don't want to slander him. I'm fairly confident.
Great. Here you go. You see, man.
I'm fairly okay. I want to double check this because I'm pretty sure he is.
Great. Not that it matters. I mean, it's his choice.
I was gonna say he was wasn't he a Tessa Blanchard defender too as well?
No, that was Moose, I believe.
I know Moose was one, but I thought he was one too.
I don't know.
I'm double checking. Oh,
I'm pretty sure he had to be. If you go for AEW, he had to be vaccinated. I'm pretty sure.
No, you don't.
Especially if you're wrestling in Florida.
No, they do the thing like with WWE as well. It's like you don't have to be. You can get it, but at a certain point, you don't have to be.
Wasn't he in Canada during the Canada?
Wait.
Yeah. Was he?
I found some weird tweet of his, but I don't know what that means. Yeah, reportedly he is.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure he is. I'm pretty sure.
He has to be.
I'm pretty sure he's.
Let's move on. Listen, let's move on. Okay, let's move on.
I also don't think he's that good. Like he's fine. I don't think he's that great.
He's had better. He's had better runs. I
You
feel
know
like
what
he's
it
hit
is,
a
too?
fork in the
I
road.
thought he had that really good match. Like I thought he was getting better. Like he had a few weeks of really good matches in late 2022.
How old is he?
Everything he's done this year for some reason is not hit for me.
How old is he?
I did not like the Danielson match. I didn't like this one.
How old is he?
Was 33, right? I think he's 32, 33.
Yeah, he's like early 30s. I
Don't
believe.
even look like he's early 30. He look like he's 40.
39. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
brother.
okay.
Listen, man.
Never mind.
Father time is catching up, buddy. Father time
This
is catching
fucker
up, man.
Fucker out of this company.
Yeah,
Next up, Renee
back
Paquette.
to
backstage
PCW
with
Ultra for you, buddy.
Okay. Renee Paquette was backstage with Jericho and the Jericho Appreciation Society, who said Ricky Starks accused Jericho of cheating last week. They said they have the Garcia Guevara gauntlet match for next week for Ricky Starks. He will first face Cool Hand Angelo Parker, then Daddy Magic Matt Menard. We'll see if Daddy Magic Matt Menard's nipples are hard next week facing Ricky Starks. And then he will either face they get to choose between Daniel Garcia and Sammy Guevara. They will let him know next week on who Ricky Starks will face third if he beats the previous two. It's their choice, basically. So it's a 3-man gauntlet. We know the first two opponents. We do not know the third. It's either Sammy or Garcia. There should be a fun little match next week. Fun way to kill half your show. Or 30 minutes of your show.
Yeah.
Yep, it would. I was gonna say too, for Brian Cage, PCW Ultra, ball wrestling. Oh wait, never mind. Let's move on.
So yeah, but after this, we also had Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks challenging AR Fox and Top Flight match next week, and then Stokely, Matt Hardy, Ethan Page, and Isaiah Cassidy interrupted, and then Ethan Page wanted a match.
This dude Isaiah Cassidy, man.
What
Isaiah
the
Cassidy,
fuck, yo?
his ear is going, and then fucking what was it? It was Taz or Excalibur saying, "I think he got a cramp." And Taz is like,
Dude,
"Oh yeah, he got a cramp."
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Somewhere.
We used to do that in like middle school, high school.
I know. I do that all the time. Me and my friends would, like, when I was younger, me and my friends would be out in public. It's like,
This is freaking crazy.
You know what?
He took me back to like 10th grade. He said, "I'm taking."
And then wasn't Don Callis saying, "If y'all face them, we can get a really good NFT out of this." And then Tony Schiavone's like, "I didn't even know NFTs were still a thing."
Oh, making fun of the crypto world.
Making fun of WWE. WWE does the NFT shit.
Oh yeah, that too.
That's 100% what that was.
Oh,
This was great. This was so fucking stupid and funny.
At least Nick Jackson can shoot the basketball, man. I'll give him that.
They ballers.
I wonder if that was first take. I think that wasn't first take.
That like it was first.
I mean, they legitimately they play a lot of basketball.
I know they play a lot of basketball, but I don't think that was first take.
Who knows? But next up, we have the American Dragon Bryan Danielson taking on Timothy Thatcher. Thatcher did not use his Imperium theme like we all kind of predicted last week, but a very similar type of music there. Thatcher going for that Fujiwara armbar early, working, I believe it was the left shoulder that Cage took out last week. That in kayfabe, he had a slightly dislocated left shoulder, but he is cleared to compete. And a lot of this match was basically Thatcher just trying to beat the shit out of Danielson and just take him out with that left shoulder and using that Fujiwara armbar there. Bryan selling his ass off throughout everything. There's not even much to describe about what happened within the match, but there was a ref bump at one point. MJF came down to ringside to go to take out Bryan Danielson with that Dynamite Diamond ring before Takeshita, which I don't know why I don't have that picture in here. Do I not have the Takeshita picture? I don't.
I don't think so. All the pictures.
No, I don't see it. I had a picture of Takeshita. But Takeshita showed up in a hoodie to beat the shit out of MJF, took it to the back, brawled a little bit. Takeshita versus MJF next week. Bryan Danielson back inside the ring. Thatcher got on that Fujiwara armbar. He escapes, hits that running knee, the Busaiku knee, and gets another victory before he faces Roosh next week. Bryan Danielson does not have a lot of misses for me. Not gonna lie, this match was kind of a miss. I didn't like this. I didn't think they had that well of chemistry. I think it just didn't not chemistry, more of that. Bryan Danielson and Thatcher is a match when you need both of these guys to be completely healthy. And the story of this was that Thatcher was going to work the left shoulder. And that's fine. It made for a good story in the match. But it's Thatcher is not charisma. It's not charismatic.
All right.
He's very boring with the way he works. I think he's a good catch wrestler, but he doesn't. Thatcher's never done it for me unless he has like the perfect opponent. Like I think he had the cage match with Riddle, which I thought worked really well because Riddle's very charismatic. Riddle's charismatic, and every Thatcher match, like Thatcher is very much dependent on who he's in the ring with and what type of match he's working. And I thought that working the match where Bryan is selling that left shoulder, I just didn't think it came together for me.
Yeah, same with me too. I felt like I had a feeling that it could possibly get like that, but I thought Bryan was gonna try and pull a little bit of something out of Thatcher.
There just wasn't. It felt very basic.
Yeah, it was very basic. It was kind of like last week. It was kind of like last week, but just a little bit more brutal.
Yeah, I'll be that guy. I'll be that guy. I'll be that guy. Timothy Thatcher is not meant for television.
I agree, and I think, like I said, like that. I'm a very big fan of catch wrestling. So like watching Thatcher at Bloodsport is the perfect environment for me to watch him because he's in his element more, and I think he would have been in his element very well if you had a healthy Danielson. It's very much dependent on the way he's wrestling. And he wasn't, he was first off on TV, don't think he worked at all, especially in the 9 o'clock spot. I don't think it came across well. And then you have him working an injured Danielson where he is in control and it's really based on everything he's doing. I just don't think it worked well. You needed something else there. And it felt like it didn't bring a lot out of him.
Yeah.
And for a nearly 14-minute match, like a little too long.
Yeah,
for everyone's liking.
Frantic World saying this match was just like GCW Bloodsport. I love it. I've been to Bloodsport. It wasn't fucking like Bloodsport. Come on. Moxley and Hangman was like Bloodsport. This was not like Bloodsport. This did not feel like Bloodsport whatsoever to me.
Now, in a couple of weeks, you do Kota Ibushi and Timothy Thatcher in Bloodsport.
They're in Thatcher. Yeah, Thatcher and Ibushi in Bloodsport, right?
Yeah, I think they are.
Yes, and that's gonna be Thatcher in his element. He's not in front of TV. Bloodsport, he's very good in that Bloodsport style, and Ibushi's a great opponent for him, a healthy Ibushi too, not selling an injury Ibushi. I think if Bryan was not selling that left shoulder, this would have been really good. Yeah. I want to make sure. Saying that Daniel Bryan still in Bryan Danielson still in the BCC because they don't mention him or they never beat with him, etc. Technically, yes, he did wrestle with the BCC a few weeks ago against Top Flight. So technically, yeah, he is part of the Blackpool Combat Club. He's just the point of the Blackpool Combat Club is it's a fighting group. So they're not always going to be together. They're not always going to be one stable. So while Claudio and Wheeler came out to help Moxley, Daniel doesn't have to. Danielson doesn't have to. Wheeler didn't even have to. Claudio doesn't have to. None of them have to. And I think right now the story is that it's them, Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler are much more together right now, and Bryan's kind of doing his own thing, which I'm fine with. They don't always need that. It's very similar with New Japan stables, where not all of the Bullet Club will be together at one time. Not all of Chaos will be together. Not all of Los Ingobernables will be together at one time. So I kind of like that style. It's different. After this, we had the announcement that Rush will be facing Bryan Danielson next week. We also got MJF taking on Takeshita taking on MJF in a world title eliminator match. Next week, Takeshita beats him. He will get a world title match against MJF. And then we had Jade Cargill taking on Red Velvet. This was the 49-0 match, technically. Jade Cargill, they cut the match, so I guess it's not canon. But
Jade, the only photo you got?
Only one I could get, yeah. But Jade Cargill.
LOL, she won.
I couldn't find shit from this match. But I actually thought this was one of Jade's better matches. Wish they gave it maybe 10 minutes. But yeah, Red Red had some control over Jade. Jade got control a little bit back because Layla Gray was cheating. Kiera Hogan came out to even the odds up a little bit and take out Layla Gray, and then Jade was able to hit the Jaded and put away Red Velvet to go 50-0. Steve.
Yes.
Thoughts?
I need to be honest with you. I mean, who did not see Jade Cargill winning this match? You could have seen this shit coming from a mile away.
I thought that they might have gone with the red win, but because they didn't promote it a lot, I said probably not. I thought that they might have decided to go want to beat her.
I like the fact that Red Velvet went for like a submission hold near the end of the match to again along the way, but with Jade Cargill, you want her to try to overcome adversity. You want to show that she almost can be beat, but she finds a way.
Yeah, and this was the first time that when the ref got taken out at one point, and Red almost had the win. This was the first time that Red Velvet Jade Cargill has been visually pinned because she did the pin and the count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. This was the first time I believe that they've done that.
Of course, yes. And when it was all said and done, she's now 50-0. Milestone, history in the making. Yeah. My question is, where do we go from here?
I either believe Chris Statlander or Willow.
Yeah.
Really want to do Willow?
I think it should be Willow.
I think Willow should be the warm-up to Chris Statlander.
The tune-up match, tune-up.
Yeah. Like she's this close, and then Chris comes in because Chris Statlander was originally supposed to be that person.
He was supposed to do it. I think.
And if they keep the plans the same, and if they, communicate whatever, like, oh, hey, you were supposed to be the person, we'll put it on hold until you get ready again. Then
I think you bring back Chris, you see if she's as hot as she was when she left. If she's not as hot, and Willow was actually hotter, I think you put them in a tag match, and you see which one is the hotter of the two, and then you go with whoever's hotter.
Yeah.
Let me right here.
Well, I feel like whoever's winning, that title is gonna go down to shit anyway.
Jade Street should only end with Britt Baker shocking her with a cattle prod.
Thanks, Romeo. Hello 101. If Jade doesn't lose at Revolution, then I'm convinced they're waiting for Statlander. Would not be surprised if they're waiting for Statlander. But I don't think Revolution is what you should say is like that's what should convince you, because if let's say they put her against fucking Tye Mello at Revolution, really, we believe that she's gonna fucking lose to Tye Mello. It just depends on the opponent. If they put her against Willow at Revolution, then that's a different story. And then Checkopedia saying, actually, I'll go with this one first. As for Jade and the belt, no one else is built up enough to beat her, so they'll just keep it on Jade until Statlander returns. A lot of people agree with Statlander. I think the only woman right now active who could beat her is either Jamie Hayter or Willow, who have the heat. Because Jamie Hayter's got enough crowd heat too, if they wanted to go that route and do a champ versus champ match. And then also saying, I think Tony Khan is bored of the women's division and doesn't care about those women's titles. I don't necessarily agree that he's bored. I think he just has trouble booking them. I think he doesn't know how to book women.
Hey, man, no, it's 9:25, man. So for whatever reason, I don't know why, but it had to be 9:25 p.m. Now, man, Chris can't be dependent.
Romeo's being an
absolute that big of a rub. Yeah. He had to prove that she's not injury prone. Sorry.
Romeo being a degenerate is always saying that she has to prove she's not injury prone if she wants to win the belt.
I mean, worst case scenario, man. Next thing you know, you put her in the match, she gets hurt. Then what?
And then you move on to the next person.
Yeah.
She turns from Statlander to Knox.
Well, in the main event, we had Darby Allin, the TNT champion, defending against the ROH World Television Champion Samoa Joe, the former King of Television, coming back for his title. The third match from the trilogy. The first match was December 7th, 2022. Second match, January 4th, 2023. The third match, February 1st, 2023. Darby came out to the ring wearing a hoodie covered in thumbtacks. These two beat the shit out of each other. We had Joe just throwing them over. Like, they went up to wrestle in the 100 section, and Joe just fucking threw him over a guardrail. He threw him onto two chairs that didn't even crack. He did the move away spot on a Darby Allin going for a cannonball to the outside, and he did the move away spot, and Darby went flying through a fucking table. This was just beating the shit out of each other. This whole match. About what you expect from Darby and Samoa Joe. Like, take those first two matches, but then add no rules into it, and that's what you got here. Darby with a he did a coffin drop with the thumbtacks for a near fall. Samoa Joe won with a muscle buster onto the exposed hardwood of the ring that Darby actually tore up. He had that muscle buster right onto it, and the king of television is back, a two-time TNT champion, Samoa Joe. He has both titles yet again, and afterwards out comes Wardlow. Wardlow made his return after being written off of television about a month and a half ago, give or take, when they cut the hair. So, no, I think it was
chopped off my man's man.
Wasn't it the first show of the year when he did that?
No, the first show of the year was when Darby beat Joe. It was the show before. It was the Denver show.
Okay.
Because it was the only Dynamite that month I didn't go to. Yeah. Joe cut off the hair. Wardlow made a return. I will get those pictures up in just a second because I got too many fucking files. So I can't get all the pictures up. But we did, Wardlow did come back. And massive crowd reaction there for Wardlow. Good to see the man back, cut hair, throwing people everywhere.
Doesn't look bad at all.
Doesn't look bad.
Doesn't look bad. Like you would expect. Okay, they cut his man butt off. They would have given him a fade.
I'm a Wardlow.
That's respectable. I can respect that, but you would have thought, okay, they chopped off his man bun. He would have came back with a fade. You know what I mean, or some shit. But nah, the hair is growing in, and it's not bad. Not bad at all. Granted, am I dying to see Samoa Joe versus Wardlow? Not really.
No, I don't want to see that shit at all.
I don't want to see this again. I'm fucking done.
Fuck
we
that.
just had
Hobbs.
another match between these two. I don't fucking do this.
The problem is, though, are you gonna really have Powerhouse Hobbs beat up Samoa Joe?
I think yes.
I think that they're gonna have Wardlow losing. I think they just need to build, because the reality of the TNT. This is the only reason I'm okay with this. The TNT Championship is not a month-long feud. It's 1 to 2 weeks of the feud, open challenges. So I think they're just going to do this match in Laredo or El Paso to get a good big match on that card, because neither show is selling well. Joe will just beat Wardlow. Boom. It's over. Or you put the belt on Wardlow, because then, Hobbs is going to be a face. So you don't want that. I think you just have Wardlow fucking lose. To have him fucking lose Joe. And then you put over, and then you have Hobbs beat Joe 2 weeks later.
See, that's why I don't want Wardlow back in this situation, because he's just gonna lose.
I agree.
Just give me Hobbs and Joe. That's it.
The other thing I'm thinking is maybe they just run back the trio. They just run back the three-way from Full Gear. And they go the exact same match. And I'm like, guys, no, I don't need this again.
No. I can't handle that.
Unless they added Revolution is where they do the Face of the Revolution ladder match. And the winner gets a TNT title shot. What if they just put the TNT title on the line in a ladder match? Samoa Joe, Wardlow, Darby Allin, Powerhouse Hobbs. Let's add 2 more guys. Inosuke Takeshita. And who else?
Ray Phoenix. Fucking why not?
I want big boys in that. I want only big boys.
They give me Big Bill.
Brian Cage.
Or him. If he's still around. If he's still around with the company, of course. You know what? Fuck it. Put in Mark Briscoe.
No, I think that's just he's just gonna take over the whole thing.
Yeah. If he doesn't win, then you have an issue.
Yeah, you have a big issue.
People gonna complain online. Oh, how dare you guys do that to Mark Briscoe and all that stuff, right?
Steve. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna cut off Steve for that. Yeah, I mean, there's a few options they could go here. I don't prefer this option. I would have put Wardlow in something else. I don't know where they're going. I'll wait and see though. I'll wait and see where they decide to go. Could end up being really good, and I could end up liking it. I just didn't need to see this. I also don't know why Darby lost immediately again to Joe. I would have had Darby get the shit beat out of him by Hobbs. Yeah, give him like a 10-minute match where he just beat like kind of like Joe and Darby won, and then he just fucking beats him. Like Darby almost wins, but then Hobbs beats him.
Also, he can't. Wasn't the stipulation both dudes, if they lost, they can't get a rematch?
If Joe lost, he couldn't get a rematch. No more. And Joe lost. Well, Joe won. But the stipulation was if Joe would have lost, he could no longer challenge for the TNT title, which so happened that he won.
Okay.
Mike, what was your question?
That was my question. I was like, wasn't it the stipulation that if both dudes lost somehow?
What do you? But both dudes couldn't have lost. It's a one-on-one.
Well, I'm talking about like if one of the guys, like if
the loser of
the match can't get a rematch.
I think it was just if Joe loses,
it was just Joe. Okay. Well. At the end of the day, I don't
think anyone does, Mike, and nobody wants to see
people like Wardlow fans, but that's about it.
I don't want this. I really don't see anything in Wardlow right now.
I don't either. I would have cut them off TV for another month or two.
Yeah, man, I don't see.
I think he could have been good if you had him come back and be Hobbs' first opponent, and just have Hobbs. That's a good win for Hobbs.
Yeah.
Didn't need this though. Apparently it's that Darby can't get another shot at the TNT title too.
Oh,
see, that's what I said. That's what I thought I heard.
I assume it's just for Joe's title, not for
no. Because I felt like in this promo, because I heard it twice because I wasn't paying attention to the promo.
We lost Steve.
I'm here.
Oh, no, Steve. We lost Mike.
Oh yeah, okay. There he's
back.
Back.
So I wasn't paying attention to the promo, like the opening video package, explaining. But I thought I heard twice, like if you lose, no rematch. If I lose, all I heard was lose, no rematch, and I was like, did they video mess up? That's all I heard. So it was like,
I just read something on Twitter that I cannot wait to tell you all about after this fucking chat.
So it's just like I knew. So yeah, so he can't get a rematch.
I'm afraid not.
So yeah, if you knew he wasn't going to get a rematch, that means he's going to go to obscurity again in booking. Another member of the Four Pillars just done.
Triple H is a fucking cuck.
Let me go on Twitter to find out what it is.
He said, having Vince around has been great. Having him back and involved, even at just the board level, comes with this incredible insight. This fucking dude. He's lying through his fucking teeth. You're the one who leaked this shit. Hunter, tell me you're not the one who leaked this to the Wall Street Journal. Come on. It looks like WWE is going to advertise they're going to try to advertise the turnbuckles and the apron like New Japan does. Fans are going to lose their shit.
advertised the turnbuckles in
You mean like the one giant pad? The one giant.
Remember when AEW did that Rick and Morty show on Dynamite, and the turnbuckles had the portals?
Yeah.
Oh.
They could design every turnbuckle could say Mountain Dew, pitch black, and on the ring it could say Mountain Dew, pitch black.
I remember back in the day, WCW used to have Slim Jim on the turnbuckle. So
yeah, they used to do that back in the day.
New Japan has ads all over their fucking canvas. I have no issue with it, honestly. I think
they're only doing that because
I'm used to it. Maybe like it would be weird for WWE at first, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing I can compare that to is that
UFC.
the AEW and the NBA. They're starting to put ads everywhere.
Or the UFC.
Or the
NHL's
UFC.
doing it. NHL's putting ads. And people like lose their shit about it. And I'm like, guys, like they gotta make money. It doesn't affect your viewing experience. It distracts you for maybe 5 minutes. And then you're fine.
Give Wardlow the new security guard championship because that's the only time he's over when he's beating them up. No, we put Wardlow in the Power Slap League. Guess we got to put him in the Power Slap League.
Sean Ross Sapp said to do Hangman versus Moxley in a Power Slap fight.
I'm sure that would,
be great.
That'd be great, yes. But that was Dynamite. Overall, listen, the show, that was okay. Not going to pull your hair back. Just go out of your way and watch the first match in the main event. Everything else on the show is skippable.
Mike, what score are you giving?
Letter grade, I'll give it a B minus.
I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go to B minus. Steve?
By a thread, it's a B minus. By a thread. Now, before we move on, I want to read the poll. I'm closing the poll now. I asked you guys, what was your thoughts on AEW Dynamite, right? What was your thoughts, right, on the poll here? And see here. I asked you guys, did you enjoy Dynamite? 50% of you voted, yeah, hell yeah. And 50% of you said shit was buns. 12 of you.
Shit was buns. It's not like I don't think it was buns.
I had to put it out there as an option, You
could have put 3. You could have put like A, B, C, D.
No, like they enjoyed the show. Like, hell yeah, it was a good show. Or, man, no.
Hell yeah, I love the show. Or, oh, this shit fucking sucked. There's not like, oh, it was okay. You don't have an it was okay option, Steve.
Well, there you go. Palou writes here, I give it a B+. That's fine. I saw on Twitter
that going it a B+ that they had I think of the show overall was kind of weak on the story.
So was Curran them not playing?
Yeah, I'm afraid not, Mike. So that was AEW Dynamite. This has been sad. What was the rating, by the way? What was the rating?
Oh,
it was 901,000.
901. I want to see if I have. Fuck.
Say that again, Mike. What was the rating?
It was 901,000.
Yeah. So overall viewership 901,000, 404,000 in the 18 to 49 for 0.31. Compared to last week, Dynamite was down 10% in total viewership. Among viewers 18 to 49, viewership was down 4% from last week's 421,000. Dynamite ranked number 2 among cable originals in P18 to 49, ahead of the late NBA game on ESPN at a 0.30, according to Showbuzz Daily, including broadcast prime time. It ranked number 15. It was down. I'm trying to think if any metrics it was up in. It was up 14% in the male 18 to 34. It was up in the P18 to 34. It was up in the male 18 to 49. It was down. 16% drop in the female 18 to 49. Interesting.
Oh man, it went down. The rating went down, boys. They couldn't keep up another million.
No, it did not do another million.
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
The only reason it did a million last week is because of the Briscoe.
Yeah, but you would think they'd carry that momentum. But it's fine. There's another week.
The thing is that so Steve, here's the thing. Dynamite, I gotta do it like this. Dynamite starts here, right? It goes like this throughout the show. Up and down, up and down. And overall, it starts here at 1 million, like usually 1.1. It ends down here at 900. So here's the thing. Last week, it went like this because people wanted to see Mark Briscoe. So it stayed high. This week, no one gave a fuck about the main event. So boom.
Damn, yo.
That's the reason why I get under $1 million.
You did a little snake thing.
It usually goes like a snake, but it consistently goes like a snake, but it consistently
Like
goes down over the show. The difference between last week is last week the ending stayed as high because people wanted to see Mark Briscoe. So that's one of the rare like when AEW shows do $1 million, it's only because the main event draws the same amount of viewers as the rest of the show. Typically, it does not. There's like 4 or 5 exceptions a year, and those are their 1 million shows. Yes. So that's most of the time they don't do. That's why, like Los Angeles, people didn't give a fuck about Escalera de la Muerte. It wasn't as appealing to them as Chris Jericho versus Tomohiro Ishii, which is one of the few times that the last segment was higher rated than earlier segments.
Yes. So with that being said, guys, we're gonna put a bow on the show. This was a fun one as always. I apologize for me being kind of under the weather. I'm getting better, but yeah, there's that. In case you guys have missed it, these last couple of days on Monday, we did Steve's Kitchen where we did our review of the Royal Rumble. On Tuesday, we were live with the Raw rundown. Everything that went down on Monday Night Raw the day after the Royal Rumble. Rhea Ripley made her choice. Cody Rhodes on a mission and qualifications for the chamber match for the U.S. title. Yesterday, on Let's Talk NXT, we gave our predictions for NXT Vengeance Day, in case you guys have missed on that too. And now, of course, here we are with S.A.D. You guys can follow me on Twitter at HeelSteven. If you are new to the YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button down below here on the Around the Point Network. If you're on Twitch, also hit the follow button. It does help out the show in the long run. And a little heads up here. This weekend, we will be dropping the throwback that was supposed to drop a couple of days ago. That's being dropped now for the month of February. That is New Year's Revolution 2005. So I cannot wait for you guys to give that a watch when it does hit. But Big Mike, let them know where can they check you out, man.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at DetroitGamer313. Also here every day on the Around the Point Network. Woo!
And of course, Mr. Caden Lee.
You can find me on Twitter at Caden, KADEN_FTW. Yeah.
And tomorrow, you guys can catch us live for the flagship show Around the Point at 10 p.m. Eastern Time here on the Around the Point Network. All right, boys. This was fun. You guys have been awesome as always. We thank you all as always. As always, guys, this has been another installment in Getting Worse. Yeah, I guess you can say that. Like some soup. As always, guys, thank you all for tuning in. You guys have been awesome. This has been S.A.D, Something About Dynamite here on the Around the Point Network. See you tomorrow for Around the Point.